When a system begins compiling lists of citizens based on biological difference, do not ask what the stated reasons are. Ask what the structure enables. RFK Jr.'s Autism Registry is not a public health tool. It is not a humanitarian effort. It is a weapon dressed in sterile language aimed at the foundations of human sovereignty itself. I am autistic. I have ADHD. Not theoretical diagnoses, real experiences etched into my neurology, shaped through decades of living inside a system that has never once been designed to understand minds like mine. And for me, these are not abstract debates. They are life. And now they are a threat. I see the patterns. I see what is being built. A registry of neurodivergent citizens under the banner of research or support is not new. It is a mirror held up to one of the darkest chapters of human history. In the 1930s, before the world knew the full extent of Nazi atrocities, the regime built registries too, not just of Jews, but of disabled people, neurodivergent people, children who thought differently, spoke differently, moved differently. They were cataloged, tracked, institutionalized, sterilized, and ultimately euthanized under programs like Action T4. The machinery of mass extermination did not begin with death camps. It began with paperwork, with lists, with normalization. The argument was the same then as it is now. We are just gathering data. We are just protecting society. We are just helping families. The outcome then, as now, was the transformation of living, breathing human beings into statistics, into risks, into problems to be managed. Under the Enlightenment, under the principles that first illuminated the modern world, no government has the right to categorize human beings by deviation from an invented ideal. Under Enlightenment philosophy, the mind is sacred because it is the seat of reason, the core of being, the origin of all rights and dignity. When you register minds, you are declaring sovereignty over the person. You are declaring that individuality itself is a matter of state interest. You are declaring that life must be conformed or be filed for future action. This is what RFK Jr.'s registry truly represents. It is not about autism, it is about control. But because once the infrastructure is built to identify a problem population, the next step is not speculation. It is historical inevitability. Registries lead to restrictions. Restrictions lead to removal. Removal leads to extermination. Not necessarily through camps, but through exclusion, sterilization, disenfranchisement, and erasure. It will not stay confined to autism. The machinery will expand. It always does. History shows no exceptions. Today, it's the autistic. Tomorrow, it's the depressed, the anxious, the nonconformist, the politically unreliable, the socially destabilizing. Every authoritarian regime has known the first step is to divide the population between normal and other, between worthy and suspect, between citizens and burdens. And nothing divides faster than fear. Fear that your neighbor is contagious, fear that your own children are defective, fear that society is collapsing because those people were allowed to exist without monitoring. RFK Jr. is not proposing something new. He is reanimating something ancient, something monstrous, something humanity supposedly vowed never to repeat. And what makes it more insidious is the Axis of Endarkenment operating in the background. The decentralized coalition of technocrats, demagogues, and neo-authoritarians who understand full well that public trust is eroding, institutions are decaying, and people are desperate for stability even at the cost of freedom. The registry is not just about autism. It is a test, a soft opening, a public willingness check. If they can normalize tracking the divergent now, they can normalize criminalizing the divergent later. If they can get people to accept this logic with autism, they can extend it to ideology, to behavior, to thought itself. This is why it must be opposed with every fiber of rational, moral, and philosophical clarity we can muster. It is not enough to call it wrong. We must call it what it is. Counter-enlightenment, counter-humanity, counter-life. Neurodivergence is not a flaw to be tracked. It is Gaia's experiment, humanity's evolutionary crucible, the raw material from which the future will be born. Autistic pattern recognition, ADHD hyperfocus, bipolar creativity, dyslexic spatial reasoning, these are not defects. They are the rough first drafts of possible new branches of human consciousness. To catalog them like diseases is not just scientific malpractice. It is spiritual violence. It is the rejection of the birthright of becoming. America in 2025 does not look like 1941 Nazi Germany yet. It looks like 1932 Weimar Germany. Rotting institutions, rising reactionary movements, normalization of cruelty, disillusionment with democracy. But the axis inside America, the operatives aligned with the rising tide of authoritarianism, are acting like it's already 1938, already hunting, already dividing, already preparing the ground. We stand at a crossroads as clear as any in history. Either we uphold the primacy of life, the right of every mind, every soul, every divergent flame to exist and flourish without permission, or we allow ourselves to sleepwalk into a world where surveillance becomes selection, selection becomes segregation, and segregation becomes extinction. The registry is not just paperwork, it is a battlefield, and every name added to it is a line drawn between liberty and annihilation. The Enlightenment taught that every human being is an end unto themselves, never a means to someone else's plan. The principle is not abstract. It is the line between civilization and barbarism. The line is being tested again, and I, for one, intend to hold it.